Hello traders at CMC Markets. I'm recording this update on the 29th, Friday the 29th of September. This is Trevor Neal. I'm a technical analyst and research analyst at RRG Research. Today we're going to look at the stock indices, quite big developments in the stock indices globally, and also foreign exchange. Let's start with this relative rotation graph of the major stock indices with a daily sampling. Just each point on the tail here is yesterday, day before, so we've got the direction in the market. And there's a stark picture here and a big change of what we've had previously. Look first of all at the Nasdaq. Nasdaq has moved in the daily version into the lagging quadrant. The S&P also in the lagging quadrant. The Russell over to the left here, and so the weakest on a relative basis of them all. In here, we're crowded with European indices. There is the Dow and the Australian index in there, but the stocks, the CAC, the DAX are all in there. The Nikkei is outstandingly over to the right. And up here, swinging around massively, is the FTSE. FTSE not doing that well on an absolute basis, but on a relative basis, doing extremely well. Furthest to the right on the daily picture. So let's delve into this, and we'll start with the FTSE. Now the FTSE, as you can see, is not that great. It's got resistance at 7,700, 7,800, 7,950 and 8,000 right here back at this high in February at 8,000. It's well supported with a consolidation at 7,500, and then we've got these three significant lows at 7,200. Eased off in this week, but then at the moment rallying strongly. This picture, not great though it is, more or less a picture of a market which is holding, has put it in this extraordinary position in the RRG, swinging around there and furthest to the right. We see that the MACD is positive but in threat of crossing. Not sure if it will, given the latest strength. If we see this in the RSI has corrected down to 44, below 50, and then turned up again. That's often what happens when you make your pullback and the pullback is complete and we're on our way up again. But this is generally moving higher and moving towards the resistance. Look for some increase in momentum if we get through 7,700 towards 7,800. Now moving to the Nasdaq, again this is a daily chart here, and it's looking very vulnerable. We did see the loss of momentum back here in June and July, high, higher high, and for the first time high and lower high in the oscillators like the MACD. It has gone lower, so we're showing the momentum is on the downside and it is below its signal line here. But you can see on the chart we are testing a very important level, holding it at this moment, but testing an important level, 14,520, but I would say 14,400 is the low. If we break that level, we put a lot of resistance above here. We can talk head and shoulders, shoulder, head, shoulder pattern, and this would indicate a fall right back to support at probably around the 13,000 level. We complete the count from the head and shoulders. The RSI is also weak. It is rallied just on this last candle here, and that might indicate that we will hold the low for a little bit longer. But I think overall the pressure is very much on for this index, and we can expect further deterioration in it, led of course by the mega weight FANG plus stocks we've talked a lot about recently, and particularly Nvidia, which is really a very crowded long the daily relative rotation graph of the FANG plus top 10 stocks here, and you can see that Tesla, which we liked, has come around very sharply in here. It's losing momentum. It's still on the right, furthest on the right, so on relative basis it is in a relative uptrend, but losing a lot of momentum. Coming round here, Microsoft crossing into the lagging quadrant. We've got Amazon, AMD, Nvidia in the lagging quadrant, and Netflix as well. Not one of these is pointing northeasterly, which would indicate a that they were going to outperform within the group. No, they all look weak and are pointing southwesterly, which means westerly means that they're losing relative ratio, and also southerly means poor momentum. So these are like the leaders of the market down, just the way they were the leaders of the market up. The only one with a little bit of good direction is Apple. I want to follow up on this Tesla, which we spoke about the other week, which was looking much better and was leading and come up very fast in the RRG chart. But now you can see, or we just saw that how it had turned over, and it's lost its shine with all the other stocks in the group. So it was rebuffed by resistance, which we had recognized, but it looked as though it had the momentum to break, but it didn't. That's around the 275 level, and we thought it was going to go up towards that 300 level. Not so. Broke the uptrend line, and it's now deteriorated quite badly. A little bit of support around here at 240, but the danger is that the 210 low will give way. We've got momentum on the downside according to the MACD, and the RSI is low, just come up a little bit to stabilization at this support level around 240. So this pairing with the long of, for example, Tesla and short of Nvidia, really not good now. Both of them are really not looking that good. Nvidia, we have a little bit of a short-term bounce. I suppose the test of the approach to the round number of 400 stabilized it for a bit, and it is bouncing into resistance. I think it's going to struggle to make much progress on the upside. A break of 480 or the 500 level would be significant and change the picture once again bullish, but at the moment the threat is the 400 level, and then it could really fall away from there, putting in a big topping area in place. We've got a bearish divergence, high, higher, high, lower high, so it's actually a triple divergence here, so a longer term severe loss of momentum message from that. Here's the RSI, it went deep here, bit oversold at the time when it was approaching the test of 400, correcting it close to 50. If a market in a downtrend rallies to 50 and then turns down again, then it's very clearly that was a reaction and it's a sell opportunity. That could be close, so watch out for that. Look for deterioration here and a swing down through the 400 level and then to much lower levels, I think, after that. This is a relative rotation graph of the G7 currencies versus the dollar. I've added in the coin as well because it's the massive deterioration in that on a relative basis versus the dollar. This is a weekly sample, by the way. You can see everything is heading southwest, so that's weakening against this very strong dollar, this big move up in the dollar. Although there's been some short-term counter trend moves, which we'll have a look at in a moment, but you can see that the euro has now gone into the lagging quadrant quickly from the leading quadrant. Now let's drill down a little bit on this. This is a daily chart of the euro. Predictably, this low here at 105.09, 105.10, we'll call it 105. We got down to 105 on it. Had quite a lot of purpose in at the time, but in the last 2 weeks we've rallied last 2 days we've rallied quite strongly from that. No real surprise, but we're meeting now resistance, this longer term trend which we saw in the weekly RRG, which is downwards up for the dollar. We're meeting now resistance at 106.37. I would not be surprised if the market stalled there and continued the lower highs and lower lows pattern and takes out eventually this. The reason is because we've got a strongly negative signal from the momentum of the MACD. The RSI got overextended at that testing point at 105, has corrected, and once again if we see it up to 50 and then turn down, that would confirm this is a rally in a downtrend. And here is the sterling fall since it topped out just above 131. The dollar really got a rocket under it, but sterling has suffered of course as well, and it's broken the 123 support level, rallied a little bit back towards it. I would imagine that's going to be resistance. Then we've got the MACD, which has been consistently negative and still looking negative, and the RSI here came down to a very deep reading below 10, which is very unusual to get that low. So it was overextended. We've rallied towards the 50% level. Look for it to turn down at around 50 to confirm this is a counter trend rally in a strong downtrend, which should extend further, and we should take out the 121.10 low, and then after that the next support level is at 118. There's a strong downtrend, we're in a rally, it's potential setup for a sell opportunity. I thank you all very much indeed for listening, and I hope you find this beneficial and for you and helpful and enjoyable and educational. And I wish you the best. Have a great weekend, and may the trend be with you. Goodbye.